Hey guys. Hello. I think my countdown's still going, so I'm not sure if it's on. For those of you that are just joining, my name is Krystal. I'm with the Dog Psychology and Training Center. It seems that I am having a very slow delay on my end, so I apologize if you guys are having delays on your end as well, or if you can even see me because the camera looks black. So let me, while I'm just introducing myself, I'm going to get on my phone and make sure you guys can see me. So my name is Krystal. I'm with the Dog Psychology and Training Center. In today's Facebook Live, we're going to be talking about rules and if it's okay to have different rules for the various dogs in your home. So for example, is one dog allowed to do this, but the other dog's not? And then vice versa. So that's something. Well, we had a question on and okay, I think it's working. You guys can hear me. Let me close this because it won't stop. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So yes, the answer is yes, absolutely. You can have different rules for different dogs in the house. For example, we had up to 4 dogs at one point, and one of them was a miniature schnauzer, and he was definitely allowed on the furniture. However, we also had 2 pit bulls and a Neapolitan Mastiff, and they were not allowed on the furniture because we wouldn't have a couch, right? It would just be a giant dog bed. And so only the Schnauzer was allowed on the couch, and the other 3 were not. And they did not feel jealous about it. They didn't make a big deal about it because we didn't make a big deal about it. That's the way it is. That's the way it was, and that's the way it is, and they just accepted that. If we were to have babied them and baby talked them and said, "Oh, I know it's not fair that Pepper gets to be up here, but I wish you could, but you just can't," and we make a big deal about it, then they're gonna feed on that negativity and that negative. They're gonna start to interpret that as jealousy. But if you just say, "Nope, you're not allowed up here," keep it non-emotional, and the dogs are going to be non-emotional about it. So you absolutely can teach your dogs different rules for different things. And the question that was presented to us is they have a dog who likes to chew when they're not home, and they wanted to know if it was okay to crate one dog, even though they didn't crate the other dog. And my answer is yes, absolutely yes, because that dog having chewing and destructive behavior could actually end that dog's life, right? If he chews the wrong thing or ingests too much of a substance or the wrong substance, that could lead to death. And for me, the risk is too much. So crating your dog is the safest thing. Will your dog be upset that the other dog's crated? Probably not. A lot of anxiety outside of the crate can be alleviated by the stability within the crate, if that makes sense. So your dog has too much freedom and therefore becomes overwhelmed and does all these negative behaviors, versus in the crate, there is a lack of freedom to do these things, right? So if your dog does get anxious and he normally would destroy something, it would make him feel fine, then crating him, he's going to maybe have those same experiences. Oh no, something bad's happening, I feel nervous. But because he's in his crate, he can't chew or destroy anything. And so he's going to realize, oh, that just happens without me chewing and destroying those things. Okay, well, I guess I can just lay in my crate, and if something happens, it'll just go away on its own, versus having the freedom outside of the crate. He chews or destroys things, whatever that trigger was for that behavior, it's going to stop on its own because it wasn't really related to your dog anyways. And then your dog's going to realize, oh, I did that, right? Because your dog was destroying something and then that bad behavior stopped, and so your dog thought they were in control of it. So then the next time that negative thing happens, your dog's going to destroy it even harder with more of a vengeance because they feel like that behavior is what causes that trigger to stop, which isn't the case. By putting them in the crate, they are forced to see that their behavior is not related to that trigger. Whatever that thing is that makes your dog get a little nervous or anxious, it's going to end on its own, and your dog doesn't have to do anything. And so there's this peace that comes to your dog by being in their crate because they have that stability and that structure and that safety in the crate. So absolutely okay to teach your dog or to have one dog crated and the other dog not. We let our Schnauzer on the furniture. We didn't let the other dogs on the furniture. If you have a dog that's a known kitty litter hunter, You know who I'm talking about. Those dogs that like to eat kitty poo. They like to dig in the litter box for fun little candies. Um, if you have one dog that doesn't bother the cat box and another dog that does bother the cat box, it's absolutely fair to say only the dog that doesn't care about the litter box is allowed in there. But since you like to eat it, you have to stay out of this room entirely. And so they just lost the privilege and freedom of that entire room. That's totally fair. It is fair to say that only this dog gets to sleep with me because this dog is nice and kind and never pushes or demands anything of me, doesn't have any demanding or pushy behavior. And it's absolutely fair to say to those dogs that maybe do get pushy or nippy or growly or have demanding behavior. Demanding behavior is barking, like barking at you, demanding you to play with them, or pawing at you, demanding you to give them your attention. Those are all very pushy behaviors. So I would say it's absolutely fair to sleep with a dog that's not doing that in the home, but to not sleep with a dog that is doing that in the home. And again, there's no jealousy that'll be seen through your dogs, from your dogs, if you are not personifying jealousy to them. And so you can absolutely and fairly and justly say, this dog is allowed to do this dog is not allowed to do this. Totally fine. Let's see, what other examples could we use for this? We have talking about house rules, feeding. Some dogs maybe have some resource guarding issues or don't like to eat around other dogs. So they have the opposite problem of resource guarding with food. My Mastiff, Morgan, is extremely sweet and passive. And if I'm standing within 3 feet of her food bowl or there's another dog in the room where her food bowl is, she won't eat. She's like, if you want it, you can have it. It's fine. I'm totally fine. You can have it. But if I step outside of that room and give her privacy, she'll totally eat it. And so for some dogs, if they have some crate anxiety or subservient behaviors where they're just like, oh no, if you want my food, you can eat it. I think it's absolutely fair to crate those dogs to eat them. Don't eat your dog. It's absolutely fair to crate your dog so that they can eat their food. But it's also fair to leave the dogs out to eat their food freely out of the crate because they don't have any issues with it. Do you get what I'm saying? Life isn't fair. Like when you talk about raising children, you can't treat all children the same way because that's just not fair. What might be a consequence or a punishment for one child might actually be a reward for another. For example, my husband dislikes physically reading a book. So as a child, if his punishment was to be forced to read a book, he would hate it. I, however, would love that punishment. Bring it on, right? That would never stop me from doing anything bad because I love to read. However, Eric loves audiobooks, and I hate audiobooks. So audiobooks would be a punishment for me, but they would be a reward for him. So life is not fair because we are not the same. We are all different. We all have different needs and wants and likes. And so understanding your dogs and adjusting your presence for them is the best blessing you could do, even though you're not treating them the same, right? So for some dogs, for example, physically touching them and loving them and hugging them and putting your face in their face, that's a reward. They love that behavior. That makes them feel alive and loved and appreciated. For some dogs, that's abusive behavior. To put your face in another dog's face, to hug them when they don't want to be that close contact, to always be touching them and fondling them, they could feel threatened and intimidated and just really, really stressed out by that type of affection. So that wouldn't be fair to that dog. So fairness is definitely perspective and perception. You have to be able to perceive, you have to be able to see what's going on with your dog and to understand, does he like that? Doesn't he like that? Is it safe for him? Is it not safe for him? And then combining all of these aspects to have a proper game plan. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. I like to keep these short and sweet and to the point. But just to recap, it is absolutely okay to give one dog permission to do something and deny that another dog the permission to do that, and vice versa, because they may not appreciate the same things or need the same things, right? As a guardian, as an adult, as an owner, it is your responsibility to be able to be the advocate for your dog, to say, too much freedom, you could kill yourself by eating the wrong thing or chewing on an electrical cord. So I'm definitely going to crate you. Whereas this other dog doesn't have this problem. So they're free to do whatever they want while I'm gone because they don't do any of those naughty behaviors that could be life-threatening. So, all right, I feel like I'm rambling now. But if you have any questions on this topic, or if you do have any questions that you would like me to talk about next week, so any behavior challenges that you're having with your dog, any training requests, let us know. Thanksgiving is coming up, so if I don't get any other questions before next week, I would like to talk about place, the place command and what it means, how we teach it, and the benefits that it could have for you and your dog during Thanksgiving, especially when you have all of the family over, and it can get a little crazy around the dinner table. So that's all I got for you guys. If you like this video or you know somebody who's maybe struggling with this topic right now with their own dogs, please tag them in the comments, share it on their page, share it on your page, and then tag them in it. Any way that we can spread this to help as many people as possible, I need you to help me do that. The other thing is if you like these videos and you don't want to miss them, I do this every Thursday at 12 p.m. You can subscribe to our videos. There's usually a little menu or 3-dot button that you can click on to subscribe to these videos. And what that means is the next time I go live, you will be notified of it so that you can join in if you have time, or you can go back and listen to it after the fact. So you can kind of stay in the loop that way as well. Thanks so much for joining me today. I love the privilege of getting to share things with you to help you have a better relationship and lifestyle with your dog. Until next time, bye.